Because the times.
Woke up this morning thinking about
Those summer days.
best friend got caught up when I stayed in Douglasville. I'm doing something myself by myself. Mama caused me drama and I wanted to leave a better blue.
What's good, y'all? I was watching the epic rap battles of history, the Mythbusters versus the Ghostbusters, and the big old big old tire dude, the big old fluffy marshmallow dude. He said one like, hold on, let me go back to it. That shit was funny. He said, just one step took me out the ghetto. I was like, nigga. Bruh, I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cuss like that. But let's get into the video. Vanilla Ice, the hip-hop original industry plant. Let's get into it. Do y'all fuck with Vanilla Ice? Let me know in the comments below. That being said, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you to all the people that really be listening to what I'm saying. That actually like my videos. Like, don't be bullshitting. I appreciate that. Real talk. So let's get into the video. Let's see what it is. Remember what Eminem did? Hey, the one dude switched genres.
It's totally different. It's a rap song. It doesn't sound anything like theirs. Ding, ding.
Oh, shit. Hold up. That's my bad. You see, this is what I do. I always forget this for some odd reason because I be listening to music and stuff and I be jamming. But let's get into it.
Ding, diggy, ding, ding. Ding, 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 diggy, ding, ding. Ding, 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 ding. That's the way theirs goes. Ours goes ding, 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 diggy, ding, ding. Ding, 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 diggy, ding, ding. That little bitty change. It's not the same.
I was 3 car payments behind on my 5.0, and I was 19 at that time. It was like I won the lottery, man. It's like, what do you want me to do? At that point, the hip-hop community had kind of labeled me a sellout from going hip-hop to pop. So I did. I sold out. I took the money. I sold way out.
Seen as the ultimate crime by fans, industry plant has become a nasty word that's placed an asterisk next to countless artists' careers like Cardi B, Chance the Rapper, Baby Keem, Post Malone, and many more. And although industry plants are way more of an issue in hip-hop than any other genre, it's important to remember that the industry plants only exist because the method of fine-tuning an artist's image and sound has proven to work for major labels all through the past. So while there's plenty of artists who could technically be considered an industry plant, no man has ever come close to sacrificing his credibility for commercial success quite like Robert Van Winkle, better known as Vanilla Ice.
True.
Nowadays, it's easy to overlook him. From the goofy flat top to the countless parodies that make fun of him, the mega hit Ice Ice Baby was predestined to be played for ironic purposes. However, the reality of the situation is that no matter how silly it may seem in hindsight, Ice Ice Baby single-handedly made Vanilla Ice into a worldwide brand name, selling over 160 million copies. But even though it was super popular at the time and turned Van Winkle into the face of hip-hop for suburban America, that doesn't mean that he was ever accepted by hip-hop at its core. And to make matters worse, he paved the way for, quote, studio gangsters in the process. I never said anything to beef up my background, he told the New York Times as fans and critics questioned his credentials as this kid that grew up in inner city Miami rather than a Dallas suburb. I'm from the streets. That's where I learned to dance and rap. It should be obvious to anybody's eye that a white guy doing what I'm doing had to be exposed to the streets. Beloved by the mainstream to the point that he provided the soundtrack to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, he was still hated by hip-hop purists who saw him as a culture vulture. The idea that Vanilla Ice was manufactured by record labels to take over hip-hop has been a hard thing to shake over the years. In reality, Van Winkle definitely benefited from the industry's promo machine, but according to Public Enemy's Chuck D, he wasn't an overnight sensation.
A year before, 2 years before, he had opened up for us. He was a white kid from Dallas with a whole black crew. And he had opened up for us in Dallas, you know, dancing and actually coming out as Vanilla Ice. And actually, we tried to sign him. Because I said, you know, the difference is that if there's going to be an Elvis in hip-hop, I want to own it.
Rather than Chuck D getting the opportunity to bring him into the ranks of Def Jam and working his way up the ladder, Capitol Records SBK caught wind of his potential and offered him $1.5 million outright to sign the dotted line. From there, the aspiring rapper became the vessel for the label to penetrate hip-hop's mainstream in family-friendly fashions, giving white kids this teen idol that they and their parents would be happy to throw their cash behind and support. Desperate to retain at least some street edge, SBK went out of their way to deceive the media and push this fabricated image in a way that was bound to rile up people connected to the real culture. Vanilla Ice was famously torn to shreds by Arsenio Hall during a promo appearance. The famed actor and talk show host revealed that his combative demeanor was a product of Ice's crew pushing this agenda, making Arsenio feel that it was necessary to protect his audience from these lies.
I'd had some things go on in the...
We're both
I'ma say that
self-employed, and we couldn't find coverage anywhere near as
I hate these ads, bro. I'm sorry, everyone.
affordable as healthcare.gov. Thankfully,
free. Okay, back. My apologies, everyone, for the quick, crazy break, but I had to
on
pause
in
it.
the research process with him, and I had been misled with some information that was about to go out to my audience that night. Some things that were untrue, some intentional lies, and I felt I was being used, and my audience trusts me. My audience knows that if I say it, or if I'm dealing with something, I at least believe it, or I'm trying to be an honest man. I probably didn't deal with Vanilla Ice in the way that people are accustomed to me dealing with guests, because I'm that warm and fuzzy guy. But it wasn't a warm and fuzzy day, so I don't think I was teasing him, I think I was.
This by Tribe Called Quest Phife Dawg on a Scenario remix, and the prime target of third base's Pop Goes the Weasel, hip-hop had gone out of their way to disown Vanilla Ice. But at that stage, he couldn't have cared less, and in later interviews, he had been candid about where his priorities really laid.
At that point, what was cool to me was the money. It wasn't about cool anything else. What's cool is that I'm getting paid, and that's it. And anybody in my shoes, I don't care who you are, would have done the same thing.
With not a care given to protests by hip-hop, SBK and Capitol had invested everything behind Vanilla Ice to make him a star. And in short term, it clearly paid off. But as we know now, Vanilla Ice's meteoric rise not only exposed the shady methods that have been used to create another industry plant, but his demise told us exactly how these rappers would be disposed of when their value expires. After his major label debut, To The Extreme spent 16 weeks at the top of the charts, SBK naturally assumed that they had created this bankable artist that would have enough clout in the industry for years to come. And even more excitedly, he was hella popular with little kids. Considering that Vanilla Ice himself had verified his own industry plant status by telling the New York Times that major labels, quote, can make you #1 if they push you enough, it stood to reason that if they could do it once, they could do it again. And when his sophomore album Extremely Live was released, they definitely didn't expect to barely break the top 20. Likewise, Vanilla Ice's film Cool as Ice grossed just $1.2 million on a $6 million budget, resulting in a massive loss for everybody involved. Suddenly, Vanilla Ice had been rendered as a has-been in his mid-20s, and when there's not an ounce of organic goodwill from fellow artists or a fan base that goes deeper than a temporary high of hit records, you'll live and die by your chart positions. For Van Winkle, the fall from grace would plunge him into a self-destructive cycle of drugs, and as far as his music career, he'd go from the comfort of major label promo machine to being left to essentially fend for himself. However, if Vanilla Ice's sole contribution to hip-hop had been that he'd inadvertently become this guinea pig for the Instagram-ready industry plants that we see everywhere today, it's unlikely that we'd even still be talking about him. As an actual fact, Vanilla Ice exceeded the limited money-making purpose that he had been originally acquired for. Grossing more revenue than most hip-hop artists see in their entire career, Vanilla Ice was so successful that he unwillingly went on to fund one of the biggest record labels in hip-hop history. Not exactly known for his graceful business operations, the infamous Suge Knight knew that when it was time to find funding to start up Death Row, who better to get money from than one of the industry's richest industry plants that was now living in LA. And although the claims that he was dangled over a balcony by Suge Knight and Death Row goons has been blown way out of proportion, Vanilla Ice views the shakedown as his contribution back to the culture that he made millions off of.
You know, he took that money, and I look at it in a positive way. With me, people think I'm bitter about it. To me, I look at it in a positive way, saying, you know what? That money went on to start Death Row Records. That money funded some of the greatest hip-hop music of our time. The Chronic record, funded by Vanilla Ice. Nobody ever thought about that. How about Snoop Dogg, funded by Vanilla Ice? How about Tupac, funded by Vanilla Ice? That's what I'm talking about. I may not have had a good return on my money on that one, but listen to me. It went on to do something good in the hip-hop community, man.
Humiliated and robbed for millions of dollars, Vanilla Ice is the most clear-cut example of what happens when an industry plant flies a little too close to the sun and doesn't balance out this mega hit with something that'll prove their skills. But even if he was seduced by fame to the point that he is now seen as a cautionary tale for a would-be industry plant, It doesn't change the fact that he was such a demonstrable moneymaker that Rap-A-Lot Records mogul Jay Prince is still torn up about letting him slip through his fingers.
I actually had Vanilla Ice like probably 2 or 3 weeks before he blew up. I recognized the talent, took him to a friend of mine, and say, sign it. And I left it in his hands. So when I heard Ice Ice Baby, I started celebrating because I had heard the song and I had gave instructions to sign it. So I'm like, oh, that's mine. I got me one. Shortly after to find out that the guy didn't sign Vanilla Ice because he didn't like him. So that guy sold like 12 million records. And if you apply 12 million by 12, you could just $12 a CD back in the day. That's $144 million, right? So yeah, that's one that I wrestle with even to this day. But
Meanwhile, in the view of the similarly polarized
Riff Raff!
Vanilla Ice isn't a failure, but someone who played a dangerous game of superstardom to perfection.
I remember being, I think I was like 4 or 5 years old now, and I saw something on TV that I liked the song. I'm not one of these hip hop fans that is trying to expose somebody or cares if you're quote unquote real or not. He went diamond. He sold 10 million on this first album.
He was seen as a clueless victim by some and a shrewd investor by others. But Vanilla Ice's continued name recognition shows that a so-called industry plant can achieve eternal fame with enough distinct personality. But beyond that, Ice Ice Baby's runaway success proves that it only takes one hit single for you to become the man, even if it's for a short space in time in hip-hop. What's even more shocking is that in the years since he receded from view, not much has really changed when it comes to finding your feet in hip-hop, even as it continues to evolve. Meaning that, like it or not, there's gonna be many other artists who will follow in Robert Van Winkle's.
I don't know what happened. I don't really care, but it's okay. I'm just gonna say this. When it comes to my bad everyone, it's just hold on, I always feel weird. When it comes to making music, you have to make music for the people. You have to make music for yourself. You can't make music for the money. The money is a long-term investment. That's what's gonna come after you put in all the work. You have to make the music. Make it from your heart. Make it from your soul. Once you get the money, don't let that stop you. Let that be a motivation to you. Be able to retire your parents. Be able to help your family out. Don't be one of these people where you're so like entwined with the industry where you can't detach, where you have to work. You can't stop. That's why I say I pray for Doja Cat. But she's not an industry plant. We got a few industry plants nowadays. I ain't gonna say who, because y'all should know. That being said, what do y'all think about Vanilla Ice? I personally think what he said about Tupac and everything, he kind of got a point there. Without Vanilla Ice, it would have, like, it's one of those things where it would have still been a Tupac, but the music would have been different, possibly. You know, like they say the butterfly effect, when you, like, affect one small thing, it changes everything. I don't know. It might be a whole different thing. I'm fully out for sure. Based off the video, that's what I think. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you again to all the YouTubers that text me. Appreciate y'all. All the fans that hit me up in the comment section. Thank y'all again. I'm like a little nervous. I haven't did a YouTube video in a bit, so I was like, but yeah. That being said, be sure to like and subscribe. Stay tuned to the next video. Peace. Be safe, by the way, and stay blessed. Doesn't matter if you're religious or not. Stay blessed. You know what I'm saying?
Mario the poet.